Assalamualaikum, my name is Natasha and I'm going to be doing the introduction. So our group project is creating a Java app to develop a decimal, hexadecimal and binary numeral system calculator. For example, user will input decimal value and instantly see conversion to hexadecimal and binary via a user-friendly GUI. A key feature will include an input field, real-time output update, and a clear button for resetting input. This project aims to deepen our numeral system knowledge and enhance skill in Java GUI development, teamwork, and project management. So, our objective is to develop a user-friendly program for converting decimal number to hexadecimal and binary. Secondly, to ensure the program allows quick and accurate conversion with a clear result. Thirdly, to implement a clear button for resetting field, enhancing user experience. And lastly, to learn about GUI programming and number system manipulation through this project.
Assalamualaikum. My name is AFIQAH binti ROMELI, and I will start explain about our GUI project code. Firstly, we import 4 libraries to do our GUI project. Next, we declare and initialize all variable as private. Variable that we have is JText field that allow user to input data, JButton which will trigger when user click, JLabel which is tag that cannot be edited. It will display only. Then we have JPanel which is container that we can place our component into it. Next we have JRadioButton. JRadioButton will serve as choice for component to be selected. Then we have button group. Button group will control only one button that can be selected in one time. Then we have container that enable us to control pen or control the window. Next, we construct constructor. Inside constructor, we set name, size, and location for our pop-up window. Then we set layout for our pop-up window into 2 columns and 3 rows. Then we set format for container to put our component. We have container above, middle, and below. Then for above panel, we set layout to 2 columns and 3 rows, while for middle panel, we set 3 columns and 3 rows. Lastly, for below panel, we set 1 column and 3 rows. Next, we assign name for each label on how we want it to display in the calculator. Then we set length for number that user can input for the conversion. Third, we assign name to each button on how we want it to be displayed. Lastly, we create radio button and button group. Then we add radio button to button group to ensure only one button can be selected. We add all button to action listener so that when user click any of the button, the process successfully performed. We arrange button label and tag at each panel that we have, which is above, middle, and below. The one that we write first will appear first, followed by the other, and the arrangement will be based on layout that we have set earlier. We set panel based on north, center, and south layout. We set visible to true so that the window can pop up when we run. Next, we set default close operation so that when user click close, the window and the program will fully close. We don't want only window close but the program still running.
Let's start with the conversion into decimal. When the user selects decimal radio button and clicks the calculate button, the program performs the following steps. Firstly, variable declaration. The variables, name, the hex, the binary, the decimal, are declared to store the conversion results. The line if button decimal is selected, this checks if the decimal radio button is selected. And next, the line that says if the button gets sourced, this checks if the calculate button was clicked. The line that says integer decimal value. This is the conversion process itself. The input text is retrieved and parsed as an integer decimal val. And then decimal val is then converted into hexadecimal and binary, stored in the hexa and the binary variables. The line that says text decimal value set text is to update the conversion results. The result displayed in the text fields. The user interface feedback, where the line says button decimal set background. This code provides visual feedback by changing the background and text colors of the buttons. The line else if the button get source, clear the input field and update the delete button's appearance. The line else if the button get source, reset to reset all input and output fields to empty strings. Next, conversion into hexadecimal. The line else if button hexadecimal is selected. This line checks if the hexadecimal radio button is selected. The line that says the button gets source, this checks if the calculate button was clicked. The conversion process itself is using the code integer hexa value, integer parse integer. The input text is parsed as a hexadecimal integer, which is hexa value. Hexa value is then converted into decimal and binary, stored in the variable the decimal and the binary respective. The line text decimal value set text, the conversion results displayed in their respective text fields. And then this is where the user interface feedback code button hexadecimal set background. This line of code provide visual feedback by changing the background and text colors of the buttons. The line else if the button gets source. This line clears the input field and updates the delete button's appearance. The line else if the button gets source reset is to reset all input and output fields to empty strings.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Farhan bin NASREZAM, and now I'll be explaining when it comes to binary conversion. So it's pretty much the same as what my friends just explained, using the decimal conversion and the hexadecimal conversion. Pretty much the same, except there'll be some special case for binary conversion. But first of all, let's go through the code itself first. You can see here with the comments there. If the user choose conversion for binary, this is where the code will be checked whether the button was being selected or not. And yes, if the user click the button calculate and so on, it will perform the action below, the conversion. So basically, the special case that will apply in this binary conversion is the input that the user will be putting in the space itself needs to be a binary number so that it can be converted into hexadecimal or decimal. So it will be only with 2 digits, whether it's 0 or it's going to be 1. And any other integer than that will be rejected, will be not read. So as we can see here, right after the input was being selected and the calculate button was pressed, it will change the input towards the output of decimal or the hexadecimal. And some of the features are the same as what we have previously explained, like the reset button where the input will be reset, the delete button where we will delete everything, we will delete the input and so on. But yeah, I think might as well I'll demonstrate how this whole thing works. So you enter the value to convert. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll calculate. So there we go. We got hexadecimal. Any other example? 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. Value for hexadecimal and binary. And now let's try with hexadecimal. Let's put some hexadecimal number. 45, like D, yeah, 45D. And then you got this, the integer in the decimal and the hex binary. Any other than that? BC, let's put 2. BC special character. There you go. And even if it's a number without the ABC, we can still get the integer. And the last one is the binary, where we only input 2 digits number here, like what I'm typing in right now. See, there you go. And let's try another example. Yep. Only with 2 digits, but let's say we put some wrong integer which is not 0 and 1. Like, okay, let's try this out. Let's try something different. 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 2. Nope, it won't be calculated. It doesn't change the output doesn't change. This is still the same output as just now. Or we can can reset first here to make it clear. Okay, we reset, and there you go. Nothing happened because it just cannot read it.
Next is the color used in this programming. So, panel middle dot set background color pink. This will set the background color for the panel middle J panel to pink. So we use the same source code to set the color background for middle panel, below panel, and above panel. Next is change button color when clicked. So a calculator at mouse listener is a mouse listener that listens for a mouse event such as click and release. So basically, the code snippet adds a mouse listener to the calculator component. When the mouse is pressed on the calculator, its background color will change to dark gray. But when the mouse is released, the background color changes to blue. This function will provide a visual feedback to the user based on their interaction with the calculator component in the GUI. Next, for the font used in this programming. Next, we will create a new font object which we will set it to Arial and then size 14. And then we will assign the font for labels and text field.
So that's basically pretty much of our whole group project, and just in a nutshell thing, the conclusion where first and foremost the project itself successfully developed Java application to design, serve as an educational tool for understanding decimal, hexadecimal, and binary numeral systems. And it features a user-friendly graphical interface, the GUI, that allows users to input decimal and instantly see their conversions to hexadecimal and binary formats. Interactive elements such as input fields, output updates, and clear button for resetting inputs enhance user experience. And last but not least, it also sharpens the skills of each members in Java GUI development, the teamwork itself, the project management within a collaborative environment. That's pretty much of it. And with that, I conclude. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.